I approached this one table of girls. It was like 3 of them there. And I asked them in my broken Portuguese, are you there? Are you there? I was like pointing at it. Are you there? Are you there? But I think they didn't understand what I was trying to tell them. And they probably thought I was trying to scope them or something. Because as I told y'all before, people put things in people's drinks out there in Lapa. It's very big in Lapa.
Hey, Jamie Woods, we here to travel and motivate. No curry, we just trying to keep our minds in a golden state. We answer to nobody but the Lord, we control our fate. Too many things to see just to sit in a hole and bake. We growing, ayy.
Yo, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Jamie Woods back at it with another travel video. And guys, let's get straight to it. I ain't wasting no time, okay? So guys, I talked to you guys about the time I almost got robbed in Rio de Janeiro, and now I'm gonna talk to you guys about the time I went to Lapa. So for those of you who don't know what Lapa is a section in Rio de Janeiro in the Santa Teresa neighborhood, where basically everyone comes together and parties. So Pedro de Sal's by there, the stairs, the famous stairs where Snoop Dogg and Pharrell were at, were by that area. So yeah, this is where a lot of people, a lot of Brazilians go to, a lot of cariocas go to party at night. It's very popping in the weekend, so it's a spot you definitely want to go to check out the nightlife. But this is something that I will say about Lapa. Lapa does have a stereotype for being a very dangerous place in certain points. So you don't want to be roaming the streets too much out there. Stick with the crowds. You'll be okay. And on top of that, it's a place where a lot of druggings and, stuff happen. A lot of people get robbed there. They get drugged. They take these girls back home and then they get robbed. That usually happens in that district. But of course, I didn't know all this when I went out there. So I'm telling you guys this. So that way, when you guys go to Lapa, if you guys are thinking of going to Lapa and Rio, you know, because I didn't know that, okay? I went into it like a deer in headlights. I went into it blindly, okay? So it was definitely an experience going through it blindly. All I heard, because a local had told me, oh, if you're trying to do nightlife, go to Lapa, right? That's what she was telling me. She didn't tell me no details about it, nothing. She just said, go to Lapa. So I assume, okay, this is probably a nice spot, close by, And lucky for me, I was with my boy. So we're 2 big dudes, right? But we ordered the Uber. I saw it was like 20, 25 minutes away from where I was at in 𝐾𝐿. I was like, okay, it's kind of far. But I was like, all right, it might be in like a nice area. Like usually the nightlife areas are pretty nice. So we're taking the taxi. Taxi guy is very silent, not really saying too much. Me and my boy are a little bit tipsy. We kind of pregame a little bit because, there was like a loja. So a loja in Portuguese is a store. There's a store downstairs from us, so I just got a couple beers. So I was a little tipsy going into this. So we're both tipsy going into this, and we're riding through the streets of Rio. And we're going away from the South Zone area. We're going more central into Rio. And I'm starting to see things I didn't see before. Things got a little bit more sketchy, some sketchy people outside, a lot of sketchy stuff going on. And I'm looking at my boy, and I'm like, what the hell did we get ourselves into, man? Bro, I'm seeing a lot of crazy shit on our way over there. Bro, I was this close to telling the fucking taxi driver to turn around and take us back. I would pay him extra to take us back. Because I'm looking at this shit and I'm like, bro, what the hell?
Tu ia gostar do carnaval.
You funny.
Vai vir pro Rio de Janeiro.
Sí, me voy a mudar para allá.
Vai se mudar pra cá?
Sí, me voy a mudar a Rio.
Não faz isso não, não faz isso não. Eu tô louca pra ir pra outro país, tu quer vir pra cá? Não, agora falando sério, gente, o Brasil tem cada lugar maravilhoso. Tinha tudo pra ser perfeito, mas aqui tá muito violento, tá muito perigoso.
Ellos me dicen que no tiene teléfono afuera.
Não pode ficar dando mole com o telefone, com nada. Gente, tem que ser sincero. Assim, se não fosse essas coisas, perfeito. O Brasil perfeito. Cada lugar lindo. A comida maravilhosa. As pessoas. Os gringos são apaixonados pela gente, acho que por causa disso, né? Porque a gente é muito alegre, a gente gosta de recepcionar todo mundo muito, muito bem. É um país que tinha tudo pra ser perfeito. Mas, infelizmente, tá muito perigoso. Muito, muito, muito. Eu tenho até medo de sair.
The hell is this? Bro, I was like, oh hell no, we gonna get robbed tonight, man. Like, thank God that I got my fucking, because I would wear these shorts and they had zippers, right? The shorts had zippers. There's really nice fashionable shorts for the nighttime, for nightlife, and you could just stick your stuff in the pockets, and then it has a zipper, and that's that. I prefer those over open pockets because anyone could just slip their hands in there and take it. You would never know. At least with the zipper, I mean, they can still rob you, right? They might unzip your shit without you even realizing it. But knowing me and how alert I am, I'm gonna be able to tell someone's trying to unzipper my pants, unzipper my pockets, I should say. Okay. So that's why I wear those. I'm like, yo, I'm gonna make sure these shits are zipped up tonight. I'm not even gonna take my phone out. This spot looks like Rob Central, man. They're about to rob your ass over here. So basically, we're getting out of the sketchy zones and we're going more into the party area. So it looked a little bit nicer. So I was like, okay. I was relieved. I was like, wow, okay, all right. I thought we were gonna get robbed or something. I don't know. I didn't fuck with that area, but where we were at, where we landed up at, was actually decent. Okay, there was a lot of people there. I was like, all right, this is good. We want to be around a lot of people because if there's no people around here like that, and there's just a couple of sketchy people, we're gonna get robbed. But anyways, we got up out of the taxi, we paid the guy, and we're roaming Lapa. And there's a lot of fucking people, man. A lot of fucking people. I think we went on a Friday or Saturday. It was a lot of people. But it was to the point where I started getting overwhelmed with how many people were there. I felt like I was like a sardine packed up in there, man. Like just walking to places, because that's how many people were there. And so basically we were deciding on which spot to go to, but every spot had like a door fee. So I was like, damn, every spot has a door fee and is not that cheap. I mean, some spots were like 50 𝐻𝐻𝐾 to get in. So I don't know if that was the gringo price, because they probably found out we were gringos, or if that was the price they were charging everyone else. I don't think so. I think that might have been the gringo price, right? Because like 50 𝐻𝐻𝐾 to get into a club is crazy. That's how much I pay in the United States to get in the club. You pay 20 to get in, 10 to get in sometimes. I'm over here paying the same shit to get into the sketchy ass bar over here in Lapa. But, I wasn't complaining. I'm like, whatever. Maybe that is the price. Maybe this shit's not as cheap as I thought, right? So we made up our minds. We went into this one spot that we thought was all right, and we paid 50 𝐻𝐻𝐾 to get in each. We go up in there, and it's packed like a motherfucker. They're blasting pagode music, and before you know it, someone tapped me in the shoulder, and it was this cute Brazilian girl. And I was like, oh, damn, I just got up in here, and I already got a Brazilian girl tapping me, trying to talk to me. I got hyped until I realized that she worked there. I'm like, damn it, she works here. And she was speaking to me in Portuguese, because she probably thought I was Brazilian. I told her, oh, I only speak a little bit. I'm gringo. I'm American. So she understood a little bit of English. So she talked to me a little bit in it. So she was basically trying to get me to buy like a beer bucket. And so basically, I was like, all right, I might as well, because this shit is packed. I'm not trying to go back and forth to the bar. The bar is packed right now. It's packed. If you guys thought the bars out here in the United States were packed, bro, Brazil puts us to shame. Bro, it's so packed, you might not even get your drink in. You might not even get your order in. It's a whole 20, 25, 30 minutes after. You might be just waiting there for 30 minutes, bro, before you can even get your order taken. That's how many people were there. I looked at that, and I'm like, nah, you know what? I'm best off just getting a bucket of beer and chilling. Right? I don't got to go back and forth to the bar. I got everything I need right here. And I just assumed my boy was into beer too, because usually guys are into beer, right? So I ordered I think it was a bucket of Heineken. That was like the best beer they had. So I was like, all right, I'll get the Heineken. I'm more into craft beer, but I ordered the Heineken. So after 5 minutes, she was quick about it, man. She gave me this big ass bucket. And I swear to God, guys, there was at least 20 beers in there. There was 20 beers in that bucket. I thought it was just going to be a beer bucket of like maybe 8 or 10 max. That's how it is here in the States. And even 8 or 10 is pushing it. Sometimes it's 6 or 4 that they have in a bucket, right? I thought, okay, 8 or 10. Nah, they gave me 20 beers in a big ass bucket. That bucket was heavy. It was probably at least 50 pounds, that bucket. You could literally hit someone with it and knock them out. That's how hard that bucket was. And it was cold as a motherfucker from all the ice. So she gave it to me. I paid her. And we're trying to see, okay, where we're going to sit. And I started panicking because it was very packed. And I'm out here holding this heavy, big-ass bucket of beer, trying to get through the crowd. Language barrier. I can't speak Portuguese like that. You know what I mean? So I was panicking, bro. and it was mad loud in there. So we literally went through the crowd for like 10 minutes. We couldn't see an open table because the way it works out there is they'll have tables on the sides or in the middle where you can just put your bucket there and just stand and chill, right? It wasn't like VIP or anything. You just have tables, like foldable tables. You put your stuff in there, and then you drink and you chill and you stand, whatever, right? And that's what people do when you go dancing. So I'm looking for a table. None of them were available because it was packed. So I started stressing because I'm like, bro, this shit is heavy. I'm out here walking for 10 minutes. I can't fucking find anything. So we went the reverse direction where we came from to try to see maybe if the other way has some tables. And I guess the girl felt bad. The girl that served me felt bad. And she was like, all right, let me help out the gringo. So she literally got a foldable table, unfolded it, and was like, oh, you guys can hang out here. And I put the bucket there, and I was like, oh, woo! I was sweating, bro. I was like, man, like, bro, I've been walking for the last 10 minutes with this big ass bucket, baby. Thank you so much. I feel like tipping the girl, man, because she was a lifesaver for that. Because I didn't know any better, man. I'm like, bro, where are we going? We happen to have some baddies next to us. Like, so we had some baddies in the front of us and some baddies in the back of us, bro. We were surrounded by baddies. We're in a very good location. But your boy still didn't have that liquid courage yet. Because here's the thing about me, guys, is I'm not scared to approach women, right? I'm not. However, when the language barrier gets involved, I don't like approaching because it's not about the fear of the woman themselves, but it's more of fear like looking like an idiot because I can't speak their language. That's the whole thing. So while I did have baddies in the front and the back of me, I was like, these girls probably don't speak English because I've been here for a couple days now and nobody knows English. Only 1% of the population knows English. There's no point in approaching any of these girls. They're probably not going to speak English. So maybe I'll just drink a little bit and maybe by then I'll have the liquid courage to approach one of them and just talk in my bootleg Portuguese, half Spanish, and try to see if that can work, right? So me and my boy are just chilling over here. We're listening to pagode, which is a very beautiful music genre over there in Brazil. And then things get crazy because the DJ goes from pagode to funk. Okay, so for those of you who don't know what funk is like, think about it as the reggaeton or the dembow of Brazil, like the hip hop or so of Brazil. That's kind of what it is. It's like these crazy beats, crazy catchy beats, like they're super danceable with dirty lyrics about, you know, getting girls naked and all that stuff, right? And twerking. And yeah, it's kind of like hip hop, reggaeton, dembow, kind of that type of vibe. And I swear to God, when that music came on, the vibe switched off. It went from like a family friendly type of vibe to dry humping each other in the dance floor. It was insane. I saw this guy going like just fucking, I thought he was hitting it at one point. I'm like, bro, why are you guys, is this girl going to be pregnant by the end of the night? Because y'all over here dry humping each other like a motherfucker. Just get a room at that point. It started getting me uncomfortable. I'm like, yo, Brazilians be wild. I look to my left, people making out. I look over there, people making out. Everyone making out around us except for me and my boy that was just like in the center of all that. Just looking at all of it. Like, I can't believe this is how Brazilians get down. You know what I mean? Like, where my girl at? I'm trying to make out too. So by that point, like 10 minutes into them playing funk, I'm out here drinking. I'm trying to get in the mood. And so I asked my boy, yo, you're not going to have anything? And my boy had told me that he doesn't drink beer. And I was like, bro, no way, man. You couldn't tell me that before I got this shit, bro. I just spent like a good $25, $30 on this. I got a whole bucket of 20, at least 30. I don't even know how much I spent. It might have been 30, 35. I know I keep making up the prices, but it wasn't like $10 or anything. You know, it was pretty pricey because it was a lot of beer. And you couldn't have told me that before, G. You told me that after the fact. So I told him, come on, man, you at least got to help me out with this. You at least got to have one or two of them, bro. I can't have all 20 of these, bro. I only drank 2 of them, and I already feel super bloated because beer gets me bloated, and I don't think I could finish this, bro. And I don't know if we can get him to go, so can you help me out? He said, nah, because he just refuses to drink beer. He's a very fit guy, so beer to him is like the enemy. He's more into like mixed drinks. So I was like, fuck. So I'm over here drinking these, right? Trying to chug them. I was an ex-frat star back in the day, guys. For those of y'all that didn't know, I was in the frat back in the day, and I used to slug them shits like nothing, bro. You know what I mean? I won Rage of the Year in 2015 for a reason, for those of you who didn't know. But anyways, I'm trying to slug him down. I'm up to 5 beers after 10 minutes, another 10 minutes. By that point, I finally got liquid courage. And I was like, all right, you know what? My Portuguese sucks, but let's do it. Let's do it. I go to the back of me. The girls aren't there anymore. They left a while back ago. I didn't realize. And then I look to the front of me because my boy was kind of covering the view. I kind of go around him and see the girls are still there. I guess the girls had left to go to the bathroom or something. I don't know where they went. So I was like, fuck, man. Now that I got the liquid courage, the girls ain't here. Damn. Another 10 minutes passed by, right? None of the girls returned. So I guess they might have left. And so I'm at my 8th beer, my 8th one. I'm not even halfway through it, right? I got 12 left. I plead to my boy, please help me out with the rest of these beers, bro. I cannot do it by myself, bro. We can't take this and go. Can you please drink at least a couple of them, bro? And then maybe we could hustle something out, maybe sneak some of them out. You know what I mean? Because I don't know if we could take these, because I was under the impression it would be like the United States where you can't take these things home. So I pled. I was like, please, bro. And he was like, no. He was very disciplined. I'm like, damn it. So my idea at that point was, okay, let me try to see if I can find some baddies that are next to us, because there's other baddies over there around the corner from us. Maybe I can get some of them to take some beers from us, and it's a win-win because they help me out with my problem, which is not a bad problem to have. And then number 2, it's a good way to talk to them. And Brazilian girls, for those of y'all who don't know, okay, your boy's gonna put you on. Brazilian women love beer. They're probably some of the very few women that I know that love beer. Like, American women do not like beer. Colombian women do not like beer. Any other type of Spanish women, maybe Dominican women might like a little bit of beer. But for the most part, nobody else likes beer that are females, okay? Just Brazilian women. Brazilian women love beer, okay? Side note for y'all, all right? So I already knew this information. So I was like, all right, it's going to be easy. I'll just approach a girl. I'll just point at it like, hey, help me out. Ayuda. You know what I mean? And not only will they help me out with my problem, but now I'm going to get to talk to one of them and see where it goes, right? That was my genius plan. So I got up with the bucket. I'm over here walking around. Keep in mind, guys, I'm a big dude. I'm 6 foot, maybe not as tall as some of y'all that are watching this, right? But I'm taller than average. I'm a big dude. I'm a big muscular guy walking around with this big ass bucket looking sus, right? I'm just painting the picture for y'all. I approached this one table of girls. It was like 3 of them there. And I asked them in my broken Portuguese, Ayuda. I was like pointing at it, Ayuda. But I think they didn't understand what I was trying to tell them. And they probably thought I was trying to scope them or something. Because as I told y'all before, people put things in people's drinks out there in Lapa. It's very big in Lapa. So they probably viewed the type of guy I was. I looked a little sus. I was a bigger guy. It was 3 of them, 3 girls. And they probably were like, this guy's sus. We don't really know him like that. Nah, they declined me. They didn't even want to look at me anymore. Like, no, we don't want that. Because they probably thought I was trying to drug them or something. Like I had bad intentions. So I was like, all right, let me try the girls over there. I go to the girls over there. Ended up finding out she had a man. I was like, oh, okay, let me get up out of here. Go down to the other table over there. Ended up finding out they were lesbians. I was like, fucking A. And then after that, I was like, you know what? Let me just go back to I quit. Let me just try my hardest to drink all these drinks. And the crazy part was, I think they closed down at 3. I thought they closed down a little bit later in Brazil, but that bar will close down at 3. So literally it was closing time. And I'm over here on my 10th drink at that point. I still had another 10. So it was closing time. They were starting to kick people out. People were starting to leave. So I went up to the girl, and the same girl that served me, and I was like, hey, ayuda, porfa. Like, I need to take these. Can we take these to go? And she was like, yeah, you can take them to go. And I was mad surprised because I thought she was going to tell me no, that you can't do that. Like the way it is in the United States where you can't take things to go. But, you know, she's like, yeah, I got you. I'll bring you something. So I'm over here waiting with my boy. And after 5 minutes, she comes out with this big ass clear garbage bag. And I was like, fam, we're going to put the beers in there. I thought you were going to give me like a box or something, or I don't know, something something that looks nice. Nah, she gave me a clear see-through garbage bag. And what she did was she put the beers in there individually, then got the ice bucket full of ice and dumped it on there too. So at first, I didn't really think anything of it. I was like, oh, that's a little bit strange, but we're in Brazil, right? You know, whatever. The girl started talking to me. She was asking me where we're from because now the music kind of calmed down a bit so we can actually talk. I told her we were from the States. She's like, oh my God, so cool. You know, because Brazilian women, they don't really deal with Americans like that. So when they deal with them, it's like cool. And she's like, oh, but you guys look so Brazilian, though. I honestly thought you guys were Brazilian. And I was like, nah, I was a Brazilian in my past life. You know what I mean? But I'm American. But what's good, though, like, I'm trying to be Brazilian myself. I'm trying to be married to a Brazilian woman and, you know, be married into a Brazilian family and actually be a Brazilian by association was good. You know what I mean? But like, I don't like to hit on girls that heavy when they're working like that. You know what I mean? It's just a bad look. So I shot my shot a little bit, but you know, she looked like, you know, she had a good time talking to me, but she had to wrap things up because they were closing down. So I just said bye to her. And I walked up out of there with this big garbage bag full of glass bottles of Heineken, 10 of them with ice. And up to that point, because we were talking for 20 minutes before we left, but after those 20 minutes, the ice started melting. And there was a whole trail of water following me. About to see the sunrise, my nigga. The Lapa is fucking crazy, bro. How you like your first night in Lapa?
No words.
Yo, we got this big ass bag of Heineken bottles because fucking whatchamacallit, so I ordered this bucket of beer, right? And my boy doesn't drink beer, so I kind of screwed myself. So I asked the lady, can I take him with me? So I asked the girl, can I take them with me? Can I take the Heineken bottle? She said, yeah. So she gives me this bag, and like it's dripping. It's literally dripping because she put the ice in there too. So, yeah, the things that you see in Lapa, you know what I mean? Interesting place. He looked like Santa Claus. I had this whole big garbage bag of fucking Heineken bottles. I'm carrying it like that. And then you got ice, like ice water dripping out of the bag. And I kept thinking to myself, bro, we're ordering an Uber, bro. The Uber's going to be pissed off, bro, because we're going to have a puddle of fucking water. It's about to be SeaWorld up in that motherfucker. Free Willy's going to pop up out of that fucking Uber after we're done with that motherfucker when we get to Copacabana. Like, the dude's going to be pissed. You know, these Brazilian guys don't play. So I was like, what the hell are we going to do? We have this shit's leaking. I don't know what to do. And I was like, bro, like, are both of us going to have to be in the back seat and just pray that he doesn't notice? You know what I mean? So we're out here waiting for this Uber. There's a bunch of crazy drunk people walking past us, making noises, girls making out, and bro, it was insane, bro. Everyone just makes out with each other out there, bro. Except for me, god damn it, they couldn't pick me to make out with, god damn it. Oh, but it is what it is. My first time in Lapa, and I'm over here being like, you know, watching over my phone because I'm like, bro, what if someone robs me? This, that, I have my phone in my pocket, but then I'll pull it out from time to time to check the Uber, and then I would put it back in, you know what I mean? But I was a little like sussed out, and then finally, the Uber came by. I was very relieved because I'm like, yo, let's get up out of here because, like, you know what I mean? It's already 3 a.m. This is prime time for thieves to rob people. And even though we're next to people, you just never know. I've seen videos of fucking people being in public with other people, and then this random thief will come out of nowhere and swat and run away, and you can't catch up to them because they're so damn quick. And I don't think that would be a good choice to run after them because they probably got something on them. They probably got a Glock or something on them, probably shoot you, and that's it. You know what I mean? Over a damn phone. You know what I mean? So thank God the Uber pulled up. We got up in there. I was kind of trying to hide the bag because I didn't want him to realize that we had a bag full of Heineken with dripping ice water that was dripping all over, but it's water. So not like it's soda or something getting on your mats, but it's water. But I was trying to hide that shit, right? And I swear to God, by the time we got to Copacabana, there was a mini puddle up in that car. Like my feet were wet. My shoes were wet from all the fucking water that was dripping. My boy started laughing at me, bro, because he's like, yo, let's get up out of here real quick before he realizes what's going on. And he was trying to distract the guy because the guy kept looking behind us to see what's going on, to see when we were leaving. So I got the bag and I was trying to get up out of there. And then he got up out of there. We ran to the fucking, we ran to the door. Security guard let us in, and that was that. And that was our first night in Lapa. So I know it wasn't as eventful as it should have been. You know, we only stayed at one bar because of the fact that I wanted to finish all those beers, and I don't think any other establishment would have let us in with all those beers like that, looking like Santa Claus and shit. I don't think anyone else would have let us in. But that just goes to show, guys, a couple lessons learned is make sure, obviously, you go with someone. Don't go there alone. Be careful with strangers because they like popping pills out there. And of course, do not get an ice bucket unless you got someone or a group of people that's willing to finish it with you. Otherwise, you're going to be stuck in that place. You know what I mean? And then your night is completely ruined because you can't go anywhere else. Because my whole goal was to bar hop. I couldn't even do that. Right? So that kind of held this up. And that bar we were in wasn't really the best. It wasn't really the best bar. There were way better bars with more action. We could have got way more action. But no, we stuck to that one. But anyways, guys, that is my story. I hope you guys enjoyed. And make sure to subscribe. Make sure to hit that notification. Check out the Patreon if you're trying to see some good eye candy, if you know what I mean. And of course, if you guys like this video and like Brazilian videos, check out this video over here.